visits to India. Pakistani journalist Nusrat Mirza claims he passed information to the then ISI chief Ashfaq Parvez Kayani after his visits to India. Nusrat Mirza also boasts how he received privileges during those India visits, was allowed visa for 7 cities instead of 5. First, they had problem with Central Vista, then problem with not being invited. And now there's a political face-off as opposition questions the emblem atop new parliament building, saying the lion is too aggressive in posture. And cowardly attack on our police forces in Srinagar. 1 ASI martyred in Srinagar terror attack. Hello and good evening. You're watching Burning Question. I'm Sujarita Kukreti, but we're starting the show with the unfortunate news from the Kashmir Valley. A terror attack was reported on our police forces in Srinagar. 1 ASI martyred in Srinagar terror attack. Zeenat is reporting live from the attack spot. Let me go across to Zeenat. Zeenat, tell us more. What are the details that are emerging now?
See, Charita, let me take you to the visuals from the ground where this incident actually happened. My VJ Firdos is showing you the spot. This is the spot where the incident had taken place. This very car near the deployment of Jammu and Kashmir police was there. The ASI along with other 2 personnel received the injuries. We are seeing the DIG Central Kashmir Sujit Kumar along with SSP Srinagar Rakesh Balwala. We are also picking that AGP Kashmir Vijay Kumar is on the way to this spot. The investigation at the spot is going on because of the huge rush of Eid. We are seeing the jam-packed roads to which the traffic blockade is also there. But in this terror incident, the 3 J&K personals receive injuries, out of which one is an ASI rank officer who has been identified as the Mushtaq Ahmed. He has come to the injuries. JKP pays tribute to the martyred, and also the investigations around 2 more personals have received the injuries who are being treated at the hospital. What we are picking from the sources, it is the LET carrying the attack in the Srinagar's Lal Bazar area where the deadly attack had taken place a while back, in which the JKP personals received the injuries. 3 personals got injured in this very attack, out of which one has succumbed. We are seeing the cordon and search operation also being launched by the Jammu and Kashmir police along with the CRPF. This is the very spot where the incident had taken place a while back. We are seeing J&K police along with the CRPF at the spot as of now. Inside this very lane, one can see the cordon and the search is also taking place. This is also where this is the residential area of the Lal Bazar where the search is being taken place, as per the reports that are coming in from the sources that the terrorist, after carrying the attack, has managed their escape from this very lane. So we are seeing the cordon and the search being carried by the J&K police along with the CRPF from this very lane. So although we are not being allowed to move further because this is the SOP while you carry the cordon and search operations in the area. So this is an attack in the Srinagar where this has happened. Srinagar में अटैक हो गया, टेररिस्ट ने अटैक कर दिया. LET के जो टेररिस्ट है, जो बताया जा रहा है कि 2 करीब टेररिस्ट है जो यहाँ नज़दीक आकर जो है जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस जो नाका पार्टी थी उस पर फायर कर दिया, जिसमें 3 लोग जख्मी हुए थे. उसमें से एक ASI रैंक का जो ऑफिसर था, उसकी कंडीशन जो पहले से ही क्रिटिकल बता रही थी. और उसके बाद जो कश्मीर पुलिस ने ट्वीट करके बताया कि ASI मुश्ताक जो है वो नहीं रहे. जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस ट्रिब्यूट पे करी अपने मार्टर्स के लिए, और साथ साथ जो 2 और ज़ख्मी हैं उनका इलाज जो है अस्पताल में चल रहा है. इस वक्त जो है सीनियर ऑफिसर्स भी यहाँ पहुँचे, और साथ साथ जो ADGP कश्मीर है विजय कुमार, वो भी स्पॉट पे ऑलमोस्ट पहुँच गए हैं. मौके का जो है जायज़ा लिया जा रहा है. जिस तरह से जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस की सीनियर ऑफिसर, वहीं पर जो है CRPF के लोग भी पहुँचे. हालांकि ईद की वजह से जो आज तीसरी ईद है जिसकी वजह से काफ़ी ज़्यादा रश देखने को मिल रहा है. सड़कें जो है ट्यूब्स जो है ब्लॉक है ट्रैफिक की वजह से, इसलिए काफ़ी जगहों पर जो है ब्लॉक्स है, ट्यूब्स है, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी जो है किसी जगह ट्रैफिक को बंद नहीं किया है, लोगों की मूवमेंट को बंद नहीं किया है. लेकिन यहाँ पर इस वक्त लाल बाज़ार में जो है कॉर्डन एंड सर्च ऑपरेशंस जो है वो जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस और CRPF ने मिलकर लगाए हैं. पुलिस और सीआरपीएफ ने मिलकर लगाई।
जीनत, आपने बताया कि एक आतंकी वहां से भागा है। आप कितने आतंकियों के होने की जानकारी वहां मिल रही है? सिर्फ एक आतंकी है जिसे पकड़ने की कोशिश अब कर रहे हैं?
देखिए, दो लोग जो है जो बताए जा रहे हैं, देखिए शारिता, जो लोग जो इसमें अटैक में इन्वॉल्व है, दे आर द 2 people हु आर इन्वॉल्वड इन दिस अटैक। एज माय वीजे कैन शो यू द विजुअल्स ऑफ दिस वेरी। आप देख सकते हैं कि किस तरह से जो है गाड़ी के शीशे और बाकी चीज़ें इसमें डैमेज हुई, जैसे कि विजुअल्स में दिखाया जा रहा है कि बिल्कुल यहीं पर जो लोग थे खड़े हुए थे जब टेररिस्ट ने हमला कर दिया। दिस इज़ द वेरी स्पॉट एंड दिस इज़ द व्हीकल दैट वाज टारगेटेड बाय द टेररिस्ट व्हेन दे कैरिड एन अटैक अगेंस्ट द JNK police personals. The ASI has come to the injuries. JKP pays tribute to the martyr, and meanwhile also the 2 personals have received the injuries who are being treated here. This is the very spot where the incident happened. We are seeing that that the car has the vehicle of the JNK police has also suffered damage in this very incident. As of now, the senior officials have reached to the spot and they are taking review of the crime scene. We are seeing that one can see the tube, the car this wheel of the car has also been punctured. So this is the exact crime scene जहाँ पर जो है गोली इसको भी इन्होंने टायर पंचर भी कर दिया है ताकि अटैक के बाद जो है पुलिस जो है टेररिस्ट के पीछे ना भागे, इसके लिए जो है कार को पूरी तरह से पंचर कर दिया है। चारों टायर्स पे जो है गोलियां मार दी है टेररिस्ट ने। उसके साथ जो है शीशे भी इसके टूट गए हैं। लेकिन हाँ, अभी देख रहे हैं कि किस तरह से जो सीनियर पुलिस पर्सनल्स है, पुलिस ऑफिसर्स है जिनके पुलिस के, वो मौके पे पहुंचे और ताकि मौके का जायजा ले सके। अभी इस अटैक में जो है श्रीनगर में द 3 पर्सनल्स ऑफ जम्मू एंड कश्मीर पुलिस रिसीव द इंजरीज, आउट ऑफ विच ASI Mushtaq has come to the injuries. 2 more are being treated at the hospital. As of now, this incident had taken place in the Lal Bazar, the downtown area of the Srinagar, where the LET carried attack against the JNK police on the 3rd day of Eid.
Right, Zeenat. Thank you so much for all that update, and we'll get you more from Zeenat from Srinagar where that attack has taken place. Thank you so much. And in an explosive interview, a Pakistan-based journalist has revealed that he spied for ISI during his visits to India. The sensational claims were made by Nusrat Mirza, who said he came to India during former Vice President Hamid Ansari's term and was given special treatment by the Pakistani military as he was passing information to the ISI under the then chief Ashfaq Kayani. And all this happened during the UPA rule. Now the question is, ladies and gentlemen, would the pro-Pakistan lobby still not speak up? Even now, when it's the question of national security. We debate after this short report.
In an explosive revelation, a Pakistan-based journalist confessed to spying for the ISI during his trips to India. In an interview, Pak journalist Nusrat Mirza said he received privileges from the Foreign Affairs Department of Pakistan during his visits to India when the UPA government was in power.
जो इंडिया के जो नफ्सियात है, उनका जो कल्चर है, उसको हम समझते हैं, उनकी वीकनेस को हम जानते हैं। मैंने भाई मैं तो नहीं दूंगा, लेकिन आप देना चाहते हैं दे दें, मैं आपको ये देके जा रहा हूँ। तो खैर वो उन्होंने दे दी थी। फिर बाद में किसी आदमी ने, एक ब्रिगेडियर ने मुझे फ़ोन किया, कहा कि साहब ऐसी इन्फॉर्मेशन हमें और मिल जाए तो अच्छा। तो मैंने कहा भाई ये इन्फॉर्मेशन काफ़ी नहीं है, इस पर ही काम करो। आइंस्टाइन जो है वहाँ के सारे शहरों के बारे में इनके पास इन्फॉर्मेशन है।
And as questions are raised over free run to Pakistan supporters during UPA government,
कांग्रेस ने हमेशा देश की एकता और अखंडता के साथ हमेशा कांग्रेस ने समझौता किया और कांग्रेस हमेशा देश दुश्मन ताकतों के हाथों खेलती थी।
the BJP is demanding probe into the matter.
पीपल कांटेक्ट में इस प्रकार का इनिशिएटिव ज़रूर अटल जी के वक्त हुआ, लेकिन उसके गार्ब में, उसके कवर में कई इस प्रकार के स्पाइस या बाकी लोग थे, वो भारत आए। बहुत बड़ा मामला है, इसका प्रोब होना चाहिए।
The alleged revelations expose a deeper conspiracy against India and its people. And despite such sensational claims on camera, why is the lobby still silent? Can the pro-Pak lobby within continue to roll a red carpet for potential ISI spies? Let's debate.
And the guests that join me on Burning Question tonight, I have the spokesperson of the BJP, Rajiv Pandey, joining us on Burning Question. Foreign and Strategic Affairs expert Aarti Tikku Six joins us on the show. Major General K.K. Sinha joins us on the show. So does Congress leader Lokesh Jindal, senior journalist Ashutosh Mishra, and Dr. Sumant C. Raman, political analyst, joins us on Burning Question. And let me begin with Lokesh Jindal. Let me begin with you. A senior journalist on camera revealing how he was invited. He was here in India. He was enjoying the courtesy of the present government and also the kind of leverage he got. He was getting the visa for 7 cities instead of 5. He was doing this all this while, and nobody seemed to notice. Spying here for Pakistan and getting all the leverages.
I'm just wondering how low can we get with respect to establishment of facts. Now, a journalist,
so-called senior journalist, he gives any form of claims,
and this finds
a very important fodder with respect to sensational journalism, so as to put any form of accusation against UPA and Congress. Let me tell you, in the history of India, post-independence 2004 till 2014 was the most glorious era that any government had ever seen. We had an unprecedented economic growth, political stability, and it was under the reign of the Congress that we saw that India attained unprecedented levels at the economic, political, and international sphere. Now, the problem is the present NDA government is unable to deal with the situation that it itself has manufactured, and it is forming all forms of bases. It wants to
No. Lokesh Jindal, have these claims been made by the present government? Have these claims been made by the present government, Lokesh Jindal? My question to you is, these claims have not been made by an Indian. They've been made by a Pakistani who came here, who enjoyed the hospitality, and he stayed here, given visa for 7 cities in the country. Yes, of course. Let me go across to Rajiv Pandey. Rajiv Pandey, these claims have not been made by the present day government. They've been made by a Pakistani journalist.
Sucharita ji, if you can recollect, one ex-raw officer in
interviews, he said the same thing, and now the same thing is being repeated by a Pakistani journalist. You know, anyway, that's why we say, let's have an impartial probe that whether any law was violated or not, whether he was given access to more number of cities. And if that comes true, then the person who was responsible for giving these kind of red carpet to these kind of ISIS tools should be questioned. What was the quid pro quo between them? And he is talking something bigger things. NK Sood said, ex-raw officer, at that time what was happening we know. And about the Ansari, ex-vice president, even the link in India, his relatives are dreaded criminals. You may be knowing, dreaded criminals for Mukhtar Ansari is his relative. So, I don't know. And in that report, it comes that many... Once again, allow me to complete. What I'm saying, there are 2 corroborative... I am a lawyer. There are 2 corroborative evidence, Sucharita ji. One by the ex-raw officer, and now one by the one of the senior journalists. And he is saying openly that I did this. And the proof is what? Just last line. Proof is, if there was a law that the Pakistanis will be allowed to only travel to certain extent, and if that extent is extended by if there is any form of validity to
then
why don't you take
will got the book? Ex-president, I'm saying this.
which is dealing with national security.
Let's have impartial investigation about this, because this is very important.
So why aren't you having one?
This Spied lobby. This Spied lobby.
No, Lokesh Jindal, I'll make a small point, and I will then go across to Aarti Tikku. Very, very clearly, this journalist, he's been speaking out. He's been speaking about the claims that he's been making, that he was spying. He was giving all the information directly to General Kayani. And now it's all out in the open, and nobody has said that he's speaking false. He's speaking lies. Nobody from the Pakistani side has retorted to that. Now, let me make it very clear, Aarti Tikku, the visa that is issued to Pakistanis, normally the visa is issued for 5 cities. This journalist got visa for 7 cities. Now, who was rolling out the red carpet? Who was rolling out the red carpet?
Well, this allegation raised by this Pakistani journalist is of serious nature, and it really calls for an investigation. And the reason for the investigation is I will mention a couple of factors. One factor is the fact that Hamid Ansari, as Vice President of India, and even otherwise, has had views which were not in alignment with national interests. And I'm a witness to, in fact, I was a participant in a conference after Vice President Hamid Ansari completed his terms and was now enjoying his retirement. And I remember that at that conference, there was, it was like all the voices in front of Hamid Ansari and all his friends and all the allies of the Congress party and other Congress members, they were in fact favoring the pro-Pakistan line. And as it is, UPA, under UPA, we did see a pro-Pakistan line consistently. Whether it was their security strategy, whether it was their Kashmir policy, whether it was their Pakistan policy, it was in alignment with what Hamid Ansari has been saying. And if you remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his farewell speech to the Vice President, made some cryptic remarks.
Right.
Clearly, Prime Minister Modi knew something that all of us did not know. But one thing is clear, that Hamid Ansari has been a pro-Pakistan leader. He has, I don't think, he's been shy about it. He has taken a very staunch Muslim chauvinistic line, whether it was, if after Prime Minister Modi came to power, his main focus or main rhetoric was that Muslims in India are under threat. As if, something was terribly being, a kind of a genocide was being conducted against Muslims, which was a complete baloney, and it was nonsense. This rubbish was being peddled day in, day out by Hamid Ansari and his entire coterie and cabal.
And my concern is, Aarti Tikku, because I'll go across to Ashutosh Mishra next. When the Pakistani Foreign Ministry was taking such specific interest in a particular journalist, why was there not a red flag? Ashutosh Mishra, doesn't this raise concern that a journalist who was being constantly aided by the Pakistani side, and we here were welcoming the journalist, and he was spying on the country and sharing information with the ISI chief?
What is of greater concern is that a so-called journalist who's not taken seriously even by his own government. Because if you read the whole thing, it sounds like more like the ranting of a self-proclaimed Mughal seeking his 15 seconds of fame on TV. So Pakistan didn't take him seriously, and here the BJP and its supporters seem to be taking him more seriously than he deserves. Now, when
should we take the 7 visits for a visa seriously or not? Should we take those 7 visits in a visa seriously or not? Should we take the 7 visits should we take this visa to 7 cities seriously or not, sir? That is my question.
Should we fall into this trap?
Is every Pakistani given visa for 7 cities? Is that normal? Is that the process?
Have no love lost for Hamid Ansari. Should we fall into this trap?
Sir, is that the process I'm asking?
He is trying
Is that the process? A Pakistani national would apply for visa and he would get 7 cities to
this is
visit?
Pakistan's trick to create
You don't see
impression
a red flag in that?
Happy with India.
No, sir, is that the process I'm asking, Ashutosh? Ashutosh ji, I'm asking you the process. That is not the process. That is not the process. And there was no concern shown when this journalist was repeatedly coming to India.
Than the Pakistani establishment. That's what he is cribbing about, is that the Pakistani
No, sir, I have a problem with the procedure that was followed.
And you are
I have a problem with the procedure that was followed.
Have you found out whether in any way what he is saying is the truth? No. Even the Pakistani establishment does not consider what he says is the truth. He is just fibbing. Please don't malign a person like Hamid Ansari, whose whole family was part of the freedom struggle. And here I was just a gentleman was speaking about his connections with the criminals. That's really shameful, the low level to which political parties can fall. It's a matter of shame for India that people like Hamid Ansari,
sir, tell me one thing, sir. I'm just asking you the procedural facts, sir. Nusrat Mirza came to India. No, I'm just asking you procedural facts. And we are not here to malign anyone. We're only bothered about the country, sir. We're only bothered about the fact that if there is a red flag to a particular Pakistani national, why was he allowed repeated visits to the country, sir? Why was he allowed repeated visits to the country is my question. I'll go across to Major General K.K. Sinha. No, sir, I think there should be a concern. There should have been a concern, or I think the way you're defending, you don't see anything wrong. I'm not believing. Okay, Major General Sinha, I don't want to believe what Nusrat Mirza had to say. But I do have facts in front of me.
Ashutosh,
How
please
can I
keep quiet,
ignore the
please.
fact
Now this is my
that a
time.
journalist who
I've
claims
listened
that
to
he
you.
was spying...
Can you keep quiet? Can you keep quiet? Ashutosh,
Right.
can you keep quiet?
Major General Sinha, go ahead. More.
Yeah, please keep quiet. Please
Go
listen
ahead,
to me. Correct? See, Sucharita, this is a very serious charge, and very, prima facie is there. When what he says, he visited he has visited from 2005 to 2011, 5 times. Then he says, in 2010, Hamid Ansari invited him to attend a seminar on terrorism. Okay? And there what he said, we are Mughal, who have ruled India for centuries. These are the statement. And this is a statement on camera. And now,
Imagine.
it is also correct. See, please let me finish it. Sucharita, these are the facts. He's also taking the name or Kursi Kasuri. We know that he was the foreign minister of Pakistan. With his, linkages, he got that, you are saying that they can visit 3 cities. He was visiting 7 cities. These are there on record. Then the second thing, what he is saying, he is also saying that we know the weaknesses of leadership in India. And he has met 56 members of parliament who are from, a particular community. What is more, because it is also had got a linkages. If you know Hamid Ansari, he has been the vice president from 2007 to 17 for 10 long years. And what he did, just after, when he entered the office, he attended number of seminars which is of a terrorist link. Terrorist organizations like AMAC, Indian American Muslim Council. It is a seminar. He has been talking about division through culture and nationalism. He's on record. You can go and see if you are following him. He is making this statement at international level. He is now being taken as he is a foreign asset. So these are not a small, revolution which has come today. It is a very serious, and in such an office who has been of such a long period, he will brush aside. This is all national security issues, and the people who are siding in that he belongs to a family. He has been 38 years in foreign service. After that, 10 years as the vice president. What damages he has done to this nation?
And then Ashutosh Mishra is saying the country doesn't take him seriously. Ashutosh Mishra here said that the country doesn't take him seriously. Pakistan doesn't take him seriously, but he was constantly being aided by the Pakistani foreign ministry to come to India. A journalist who's not taken seriously, but is being constantly aided by the foreign ministry to go to India. Exactly. Dr. Sumant, I'll come back to you, Ashutosh Mishra. Ashutosh ji, I will come back to you. I will go across to Dr. Sumant. Right, Dr. Sumant. We all along were doing Aman ki Asha and they were doing Jasusi ka Tamasha. That is what was happening.
Look, my point of view is very simple. First of all, this man does not seem to have been a fly-by-night operator. He seems to have been an accredited journalist / columnist, and that is something that seems to be pretty apparent. Now, very often.
Can you give my...
Can the gentleman please keep quiet? I haven't spoken. I haven't interrupted anybody.
You are trying to emphasize this thing, which has been issued.
Okay,
tell him to stop. I can't.
You can counter him after he makes his point.
Those terrorist forum or also not? Yes or no?
Go on.
Yes, it is in record. It is evidence. And what a statement he has been making it out there. Why you are not talking about this?
So, Major General, let him make his point.
Let him go on. If he's not going to allow me to speak, there's no point in saying it.
Dr. Suman, go ahead.
Yeah. Look, the point is very simple.
Go ahead, Dr. Suman.
This man seems to be a recognized journalist. Now, if he has been spying for Pakistan, it is incumbent of the then government or the subsequent government to have identified that this man has actually spied for that country. Now, that has not happened. Whether the statement that the man is making are true or false is a different issue. The point very clearly is that to link this with some kind of innuendo and somehow link Mr. Hamid Ansari with it is without a shred of evidence at all. Just on the basis of the man saying, an accredited journalist saying that he was invited by the Vice President of India. I mean, Indian journalists have gone to Pakistan multiple times. They have, in fact, carried out interviews with the senior Pakistani ministers and officials. So I think that this is a ridiculous way of conducting things. I mean, to say that because he was invited, this is not somebody who was known, or even if he had been a military person, you can say, why was this meeting held? This man is a journalist.
Dr. Suman, listen to
and
this,
he
please.
seems to be,
Dr. Suman,
a
there have been
columnist. You can
journalists
see his
traveling from
columns,
India
they're
to
all there.
Pakistan to India. They've been conducting interviews. The question is not that, sir. Sir, don't diminish the entire the significance of the topic, sir. What I'm trying to say is that if there was a red flag,
we are only going with
there was no red flag for a journalist who was constantly traveling and being aided by Pakistani foreign ministry.
You don't have an iota of evidence to link Mr. Hamid Ansari.
Sir, those are claims being made by him. But I am questioning you on facts, sir.
I'll ask one question.
I am not questioning you on the claims that have been made by Nusrat Mirza. But the facts need to be questioned, sir. And the fact is that he was traveling. He was constantly being aided by Pakistani foreign ministry. Nobody seemed to be raising a red flag to that. And the same gentleman goes and says he was spying. The same.
What do you mean? When you are given a visa, you are allowed to travel in that country. When you are given a visa for 7 cities, you can go to 7 cities.
My question.
Where is the question of being allowed to travel?
Just tell me.
If you are granted a visa and allowed to visit certain places, you are allowed to go there.
No, sir. Sir, let me correct you. The visa that is given for Pakistan, normally it's for 5 cities.
If this man got a visa for 7 cities, then he is allowed to visit 7 cities.
He got
That's all.
diplomatic leverage. Who gave him that? Let me go across to Rajiv. Rajiv,
can't the government investigate? 8 years they have had to investigate and find out. But they can't even know that this man had been spying.
Then again making multiple visits.
Sucharita ji, Sumant Thiraman has finally said, let this be investigated. I am also saying, because the way he was given red carpet welcome, and who was behind this red carpet welcome?
Right.
Ex-Vice President. Whether law was...
How do you know that? How do you know ex-Vice President was behind it? Purely innuendo. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. How do you know he was behind it?
Why you are now talking? You were saying about...
How do you know who was behind it? You said investigate. I agree. Investigate. Find out who was behind it.
No. So,
but you seem to know who was behind it already. Why investigate him? You already know the answer.
I will not be able to stop the other guests who are speaking over you then. Dr. Suman, let Rajiv ji make his point.
I am only saying whether the rules and regulations were tweaked or not, that is one aspect. And second aspect, who was behind this crime? And now it is clear that from Pakistan you cannot come to India without their vetting by ISI. Anybody knows. You can go and ask any, Sinha Sahab is here, without vetting by the ISI, no Pakistani journalist or bureaucrat or diplomat can come to India. So this vetting was going on and timing one thing is coming. And this guy, the ex-Vice President, if you see his comments about India, he talks like some channels whose name I cannot take on your channels, who are propaganda channels talking ill about India. He is the person who always speak against the person. He is the person who goes on interview and then he talks something, whether inside India, outside India. I am saying,
sir, in 2013, there was an RSS ideologue by the name of Ian Hoon.
And
he was Lieutenant General in the army.
You only one thing,
he got his grandson married to Shahbaz Sharif's daughter. Will you now say that he was also involved?
Lokesh Jindal wants to counter. Let me go across to Lokesh Jindal, then Rajiv ji.
No,
okay, Lokesh ji wants to make a point. Lokesh,
in 2013, there was a Lieutenant General, Ian Hoon. His grandson, he got married to Shahbaz Sharif's daughter in Chandigarh. Now, will you be saying that this RSS ideologue was also involved with the ISI? What form of logic is this, sir? What form of propaganda is this? Is this wrong? You tell me, is this factually incorrect?
No, I am not.
How dare somebody malign image of an ex-vice president? It's a criminal offense.
Saying I went to India.
It's a criminal offense.
And I was given red carpet welcome by ex-VP or anybody whoever was
correct. 2013. I'll tell you the date.
Given for visa.
I'll tell you the date. What was 7 September 2013? Shahbaz Sharif, brother of Nawaz Sharif, his daughter got married to Lieutenant General R.S. grandson in India. And Shahbaz Sharif is known for anti-India rhetoric. Now will you say that the RSS ideologue, Ian Hoon, is also ISI agent?
Okay, wait. One at a time. Lokesh Jindal, you made your point.
I am saying.
Okay, you've made your point. Rajiv Pandey wants to answer. Okay.
Only one line. I am saying this is a revelation, and that by a Pakistani accredited journalist, and he has openly stated, and the conclusive proof is that he has come all the time, and he was given 7 cities visa compared to 5 cities visa, and time and again I am saying from Pakistan nobody can come of this stature without ISI vetting. But our ex-VP was given red carpet welcome. It should be investigated. And whoever is responsible.
No, do you agree? Let me ask. Okay, let me ask Lokesh Jindal. Lokesh Jindal, do you agree with what he's saying? Do you agree with what Rajiv Pandey is saying, that you couldn't have come to India so many times, repeated visits, and the kind of visits he had without the ISI knowing of it and without their go ahead?
This will only be believed after an impartial.
I'll go to General Sinha next.
Happens. And on the basis of all facts put into place and investigated.
Lokesh Jindal, hear me out. I want to make this very clear.
Even
if I were not to believe the claims being made by Nusrat Mirza, even if I were not to believe, I have some facts in front of me which I cannot shut my eyes to. And I am asking you questions only on those procedural facts. Now, I'm sure you can answer those questions. Let me not speak about Hamid Ansari. You have a problem about me speaking about Hamid Ansari or any of the panelists. We will not speak about it. But why was this man given a red carpet? That is on record. I'm asking you that. I'll go across to Major General Sinha next.
First of all, the years within which this person was given a red carpet and whatever cities he visited, this demands an impartial probe. Let it be probed. If there was some form of a irregularity, if there was some form of a discrepancy, let that be revealed with all established facts, and only then could there be any form of accusation and some form of maligning of image. Before these facts being established, you have no right so as to put accusation upon the former vice president. A person was holding a constitutional authority.
What is logic?
Exactly. Fine. Lokesh Jindal, I am repeating myself. At the cost of repeating myself, I'm going to say this again. Whatever Nusrat Mirza said, I am not going by that. Even if I say I'm not believing what Nusrat Mirza said, Major General Sinha, certain facts have come into light. Now, what I'm asking you is, if a journalist or a senior journalist is making repeated visits from Pakistan to India, would the ISI have known of it? Would they have facilitated it? Only then he could have made these visits? And only on ISI's behest was he getting the kind of importance and the kind of treatment he was getting in India? Because, or else, why would he get a visa for 7 cities when it's a normal procedure is of 5 cities? Major General Sinha.
Yeah, it's very important. Now, let's not talk about the vice president. See, what was the topic on which he has revealed this? Is India
is an existential threat to Pakistan. This was the topic on which he is talking about. And the interviewer, the anchor is asking him, there is no expert in Pakistan on India. And that's why we are not able to leverage it out. And that's why we are the failure. And we are not leveraging it out in what we should do it. Now, what he is revealing is, from 2005 to 2011, see the timing. He visited 5 times. Hamid Ansari was, vice president from 2007 to 2011. 2008 happened 26/11. He visited during that time. 5 to 11, 5 times. He visited 15 cities. You are saying, 5 cities, but I believe it is just 3 cities. He was given 7 cities on behalf of whom? It is a Kasuri who was the finance minister, and he's reporting.
Exactly.
And he tells him to go to ISI. ISI chief was General Kiani, who became the army chief also later. He is giving. And he says, these people are foolish because they can't, whatever information I'm giving him, which I gathered it, in between, he's saying, seminar on terrorism in 2010, when, Hamid, when, Ansari, got him here. See, you can't brush aside. You can't. You're saying because he has been the vice president, you can't. It's a national, security issue. Now, people, whether NK Sood, Vora, they are also raising issues. There are evidences. Where the people goes out, he is, putting the venom against India. He's saying Islam, before India. What is this? I'm a Mughal who has, ruled this India for centuries. He is making this statement. I'm not making the statement. Division through culture and nationalism. What is this? He is talking about all this thing in an Indian-American Muslim Council. Now, see, I say, okay, you said that we will not touch. But why not? Nusrat Mirza, when he is revealing so much, why it can't be, an inquiry can be done? And I think, you should be ordered because it is concerned with the national,
Yes, Ashutosh Mishra wants to respond.
So my basic problem with everyone who is accepting Mirza as Raja Harishchand is that they are not just insulting Hamid Ansari, but also the Indian security setup. Were the Indian security setup, was it sleeping? They didn't know anything? Yes. And everything was happening. ISI was running the show. They are
That's precisely the question, sir. That's precisely why we're debating. That's the question.
Hamid Ansari.
That is the question, Ashutosh ji, in case you did not get it.
No. The problem here is that what did Mirza say? That he knows the weakness of Indian establishment. And the weakness of Modi establishment is its hatred for Hamid Ansari. Narendra Modi is on record mocking Hamid Ansari.
What is mocking?
So their supporters will insult Hamid Ansari, and along with that they will insult the whole Indian bureaucracy, whole Indian security setup, as if they were all clowns who didn't know what is there happening. No, this is unacceptable. You're accepting the word of a Pakistani.
Because we were in that living in that world of Aman ki Asha. No, we wanted to.
Because it was
we've always had this pro-Pakistan lobby.
We know under Congress.
No, do you think
Pakistan was put in
we've been living in that world of Aman ki Asha where we've always been trying to project
like Modi and Vajpayee.
A short walk to talks,
so the problem are the BJP prime ministers, not the Congress prime ministers.
Can you give me a reply?
Right.
In 2008,
okay.
26/11 happened.
Ashutosh ji, I completely get your point. There may be a lot of weaknesses with the present day government, and that is a separate debate. And I'm sure I'm going to invite you for that as well. But what I'm talking about right now, and let me go across to Aarti Tikku. Aarti, there may be problems with the present day government, but what we are debating right now is the procedural lapses that happened. And if I were, again, I'm repeating this, that even if Nusrat Mirza has made false claims, they are a matter of investigation. If he was in our country, he was spying and there was no red flags being raised. He was being allowed entry to multiple cities. He was collecting information and nobody seemed to raise an alarm. Don't we keep eye on somebody who's being facilitated by the Pakistani Foreign Ministry, one journalist who's being repeatedly sent to the country?
Yes.
Would we not keep an eye on him?
Well, Nusrat Mirza or no Nusrat Mirza, the fact is that there have been security lapses under UPA. We have had a major terror attack in Mumbai. We also have a raw officer giving, making a claim. NK Sood made a claim that Hamid Ansari's credentials are in question. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his farewell speech, made a very cryptic remark, and for these reasons alone, I would really like to see an investigation into this case, particularly because Vice President Hamid Ansari had views and opinions which were very pro-Pakistan, which also tried to, project India as a fascistic country and try to project Pakistan as if it was the most secular democracy in the world. So I have serious doubts about Hamid Ansari's opinions, his credentials, and his overall integrity as an Indian nationalist. So that is the reason I would really like to see an investigation, because so many people, it's not Aarti Tikku or this, Pakistani journalist or all these panelists who are saying these things. No less than a raw officer, no less than Prime Minister of India have raised doubts about his credentials. And for that, we must really seek a probe, because Hamid Ansari throughout and UPA also, they took a very strong pro-Pakistan line. They also had a Kashmir policy which was in alignment with separatist, Pakistan-sponsored separatism and sedition in India. So we need to have all those answers. Without seeking answers, we cannot really call ourselves a democracy. We cannot really call ourselves a free society. I think it is our right. It is our inherent right granted by the Constitution of India to even question the topmost positions, to even question the president or prime minister or vice president or deputy prime minister. Everybody, nobody is a holy cow in India. Everybody can be questioned, as has been our history in the last 75 years. So why can't we question Vice President Hamid Ansari's views, his actions, and some of the transgressions that might have occurred under his leadership when he was Vice President? Why can't we question UPA?
Dr. Sumanta, the direct point that Aarti Tikku is making here, you can make direct allegations on the present Prime Minister. You can use all kinds of words for the Prime Minister, but no questions should be raised on the on an ex-Vice President. Why is that?
No, nobody ever said no questions should be raised at all. Let there be a detailed investigation. There is no problem. But what you are doing now is creating a clear narrative that it must have been only Mr. Hamid Ansari who has probably, allowed this to happen, or has used his influence as Vice President to grant this man visa to 7 cities and so on, without a shred of evidence. You have no idea what the process was. You don't know whether the Vice President's office ever intervened, whether he was even aware that who this person was. Nothing is known. And yet we are very happily passing judgment on Mr. Hamid Ansari and trying to sully his name. Very unfortunate. This is extremely unfortunate. If you say
we're not
the government should investigate,
we're just opening up a debate. We're not passing a judgment.
Let there be an investigation.
There is.
But how do you know?
Should there be no debate on this? Should there be no questions asked? Should there be no questions asked? Should there be no debate? No,
there is
that's
no
all. That's
problem
what
with
Aarti
the
Tikku is
debate.
asking for.
I
She's
am
saying there should be
talking
a probe.
about
There should be an
innuendo
investigation.
and carrying out a media trial without one shred of evidence, without an iota of evidence. You want to carry out a media trial? Investigate. Let the government come up with the answers. Why are you in a hurry to tar somebody's name?
Happening. As I said, Dr. Sumant, as I said earlier, there is a trial happening of the Prime Minister every day. All sorts of names are being called out. All sorts of things are being said to the present day Prime Minister. So one cannot even ask a question to an ex-Vice President. If there is a series of facts that have come into the domain, then should there be no? One can always ask for a probe, sir.
Holding critical of the Prime Minister had been arrested in
I want to
UP.
ask the question to RCT.
Today's news, somebody who put up a hoarding
Lokesh Jindal wants to come in.
critical of the Prime Minister had been arrested in UP.
Okay.
As a
5 people.
leader, is he also pro-Pakistan? And just one thing in his book, he admired Jinnah. Is he also pro-Pakistan? You told that that Ansari, in his view, was pro-Pakistan. But LK Advani himself described Jinnah as a secular great leader. Is he also pro-Pakistan?
He was clearly pro-Jinnah, for sure, yes.
So
he was pro-Jinnah,
undoubtedly.
And therefore,
pro-Jinnah.
he should be
Now, please, I want to bring this to an attention.
I have no issues.
That
Please question Jaswant Please feel free.
The entire
Please feel
partition that
free.
occurred due to
Everyone
Jinnah
who is going to
has been held up by the Advani.
everyone who is going to anyone who is going to praise Jinnah, anyone who is going to praise Pakistan, if you cannot acknowledge the cleansing of Kashmiri Hindus, where was Hamid Ansari? Where was Hamid Ansari?
They are not
Where
equatable.
was Hamid Ansari?
You can't equate the two.
She has clearly stated right now.
You can't be equating the two. Lokesh Jindal, you can't be equating the two. And why I'm saying this? Because nobody is making claims about LK Advani, saying that he was aiding my trips. Nobody made those kind of claims. And all I'm saying is that even if they were to make those claims, and people can sit up and ask for a probe, and that is exactly what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Rajiv Pandey, when someone asks, when somebody like Aarti Tikku says that there can be an independent probe into this, what was going on? And wasn't that the time that India suffered the most attacks from Pakistan? So there was spying happening, there was Aman Ki Asha happening, and on the other hand, there were attacks happening. Rajiv ji, I'll come back to you. Let me go across to Rajiv ji.
Hello. Allow me to complete just 30 seconds. Sucharita ji, in my opening comments, I have talked about the raw officers as well as other his antecedents. When you go to any trial, you will find that person's antecedents is very important. And that's why I talked about ex-VP. What I'm trying to say, that in this case, why that journalist will talk about which has not happened? He's saying that I was given preferential treatment. That can be checked. And many people are saying, investigation should take place but to prove this whole case, because, that journalist will not come to join the investigation. But I am telling you, the antecedents of, I'm openly saying that ex-VP is not good. The way he talked ill about the country, we have seen how one so-called journalist destroyed the image for a few weeks. Keep quiet. I don't want to. I am talking to Sucharita and the people, viewer of the Republic. I don't want to monologue you. Please, just keep quiet. Why?
Okay. I don't have much time left. Rajiv Pandey will make his point, and then Lokesh ji, you have the last word. Let's just speak one at a time. Rajiv ji will make his point, and Lokesh ji will end it.
Yes, one so-called journalist who is right now in several cases in UP, he has destroyed the image of India on fake news and other things. So that was done by ex-VP in all his interview. I am openly saying. And then this kind of allegation comes, and then there is a proof that in place of 5 cities, he was given their preference for 7 cities. All these things make a corroborative kind of thing. And only I am saying that there be an impartial investigation. But one thing I am telling you, this journalist will not join investigation because without ISI vetting, he cannot come to India. Understand this? How these kind of people were allowed?
So quickly, one parting comment. I don't have much time left. Lokesh ji, make your point. I don't have time left. Quickly.
Issue that is picked up so that people like Mrs. Aarti Tikku, they could write a script and Akshay Kumar can become the actor and they can come out with a new. There is no substance in what they are saying.
No, is that not maligning individual images? Is that not aligning individuals? Maligning individuals, sir? Is that not maligning individuals? No. So that's exactly what I'm saying. But you're free to do it, right? You're free to do it.
First of all, do an impartial.
You're free to do it. So why I'm saying this is, even if we were not to believe an inch and iota what Nusrat Mirza said, still there were procedural lapses, and that is why the need for an independent probe. Thank you so much to everyone for joining me on Burning Question. That's all I had time for. Thank you so much. Because I quickly need to go on to a breaking news that's coming in from Punjab. Punjab's Advocate General Anmol Ratan Siddu has been attacked. He was attacked when he was travelling on a train. Unidentified people pelted stones at his side, resulting in broken window panes of Siddu's seat. The Punjab AG, Siddu, has filed the complaint to police for further investigation, is what we are hearing. I have my colleague Amandeep joining us on the phone line. Amandeep, tell us more on this breaking news.
Well, Sujarita, this incident reported nearby Panipat when Anmol Ratan Siddu, Advocate General of Punjab, was travelling back to Chandigarh from Delhi, and in fact nearby Panipat some unidentified people all of a sudden pelted stones, and in fact that leads to the broken of window pane of the Siddu's seat. And meanwhile Siddu has also filed a police complaint suspecting that though he was contesting the case against the gangsters from the side of the Punjab government, so it might be the handiwork of the gangsters to attack him on a target so that he should not proceed for the cases, just because in fact he has mentioned in his complaint as well that he was contesting the case against Lawrence Bishnoi, the most dreaded gangster who is currently in the police custody of Punjab Police, and in fact he was contesting his transit remands and the other proceedings also, and even he was contesting the case in the Supreme Court as well against these gangsters. So gangsters might be behind this attack. He suspected this. Now police is investigating the matter, and in fact they have ensured Advocate General of Punjab that very soon the culprits will be nabbed and zeroed down, and in fact the entire conspiracy will be exposed very soon. Yes.
Right, thank you so much, Amandeep, for that information. So Punjab Advocate General Anmol Ratan Siddu attacked when he was travelling on train, and he's filed a police complaint for further investigation.
The opposition resorts to outlandish criticism on emblem. Opposition says national emblem is aggressive and disproportionate. From central vista to emblem, opposition only spews negativity. On-up debates at 9 p.m.
Getting a cab these days is nearly impossible because half the time you don't get rides. Even if your cab gets booked, you're not sure when it is going to get cancelled or how much you're going to pay. Now, answering all this, Mind has come up with beautiful solutions whereby we don't have a surge rate here because they go by government prescribed rates. Not just that, Mind has a beautiful feature where you incentivize the driver, ensuring that he will come and pick you up on time. So, thanks Mind.
Where the software engineer meets the talented photographer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University.
In the latest Indian university rankings announced by QS, the world's leading university rankings organization, India's #1 ranked universities in various categories are IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, University of Delhi, University of Calcutta and Amity University.
A private funeral was organized for the assassinated former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe at the Zojoji Temple in Tokyo. The Japanese branch of South Korea's Unification Church earlier acknowledged that the mother of the suspect in the assassination was a member but denied that it took large donations, which have been reported as a possible motive for the killing. Over 100 schools in Jharkhand's Jamtara have reportedly been having Fridays as holidays on account of the number of Muslims in the area. This is despite the authorities knowing. Now, the relaxation for such a change in holidays is reportedly only for those schools designated as Urdu ones, and according to official data, there are only 8 Urdu schools in the district. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has a visit scheduled for Himachal Pradesh today with a Tiranga Yatra to be held in Palampur. The Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann will also be present in the Yatra ahead of elections in November.